Welcome back to another episode of Raccoon Shitty, where they did something to me. I barely feel human anymore. I'm Frank, back with my co-host Thomas, to talk about this week's movie, Resident Evil Apocalypse.
Before the first film's release, The Hollywood Reporter would reveal that Constantine Film and Screen Gems, which is a subsidiary of Sony, had already decided to greenlight a sequel. While Paul W.S. Anderson would not be coming back to direct the second film, he would return to write and produce it. At this time, it was reportedly titled Resident Evil Nemesis, and it would borrow heavily from the game of the same name, which was Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. Paul W.S. Anderson didn't return for the sequel because he was instead choosing to work on pre-production for Alien vs. Predator. Which I'm glad he did, because Alien vs. Predator is a pretty fun movie.
Yeah, I still gotta watch that one. I think I started it once. I got maybe 2 minutes in. I saw that there was like a text crawl that said like it took place in the modern day.
Yeah, it takes place in like 2004.
Yeah, which was surprising to me because, you know, the xenomorphs aren't supposed to... Well, whatever. It's okay.
And the title was apparently changed from Resident Evil Nemesis after the release and box office failure of Star Trek Nemesis. So I guess that they just assumed that people would think it was the same movie.
That or maybe people just... They were afraid that people didn't like the word Nemesis in the movie title.
Why didn't they go see the movie? It had Nemesis in the title.
Yeah, that's what it was. Anybody who's seen Star Trek Nemesis knows, the reason why people didn't go see it is because it was a piece of shit.
It's just this, but with Spock and Kirk.
That would rule. No, Star Trek Nemesis, I think that's the one with Tom Hardy, or maybe that's Insurrection.
Oh, God.
I can't remember.
He's in one of those?
He's the villain. He plays like a bald... I don't know, he's like Fade Routha or something.
Yep, Tom Hardy. Shinzon.
Of course, Shinzon.
And Ron Perlman as Viceroy.
Awesome. Alexander Witt would be brought on to replace Anderson as director of the film. Looking at his filmography, it looks like he's a very decorated and experienced second unit director, working on films like Jewel of the Nile, Speed, Twister, several episodes of The X-Files, Gladiator, Black Hawk Down, Casino Royale, Skyfall, Avengers Infinity War, and a lot more. However, this was his first job as a director, with his 3 subsequent films being Chilean action movies that were produced for Amazon or something. And while Witt was hired onto the film after Anderson had written the script, he did make some suggestions which led to minor changes in the story. What those changes are, I don't know. But
he's like, you said she there. I think it should be her.
Mila Jovovich was the only actor to reprise their role from the first film. Eric Mabius, who played Matt, had told reporters that he would appear in the film as Nemesis, but the part ended up going to Matthew G. Taylor, although Mabius does appear in the film through reused footage from the last one. That's pretty embarrassing.
I mean, you wouldn't know it was him under all that anyways, though. Unless they actually show him transforming into Nemesis throughout the movie.
Yeah, maybe that was planned, and I mean, like, even if not, it is pretty embarrassing to tell people, yeah, I'm going to be the monster, and then they go with somebody else. That kind of sucks.
He was like, actually, I don't want to play this anymore.
I mean, that could be it too, but I don't know. It'd be weird to tell reporters that you're going to be in it and then just not be in it. I don't know. It feels kind of embarrassing to me. Like, I wouldn't go around bragging to reporters that I'm going to be in the next movie if I wasn't.
They got to bring me back.
I mean, I'm the fan favorite character, Matt Addison. Everybody loves me.
I'm like one of the 2 characters people remember the names of.
And while the first film didn't have any characters from the games, Anderson and Jovovich hinted in an interview that Alice would be meeting up with one of the main characters of the Resident Evil franchise in the sequel, Jill Valentine.
Wow.
Along with Jill Valentine, Carlos Oliveira would also appear in the film. And this would make sense since the film was subtitled Nemesis, and those are the 2 protagonists of Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, the video game. Jill would be played by Sienna Gilroy? Guillory? I don't know. I'm sorry.
Guillory.
I apologize. Guillory. She would wear a similar outfit to Jill from RE3 as well, which is just more fan service for those folks who have played the game. Before we get going, I just want to ask a question from my notes that I had. What happened to not using game characters because of the suspense of whether or not they would live or die? What happened to that, Anderson?
Yeah, he really went back on it fast. I wonder if it was like him or if it was the studio being like, we should probably get some of the fan favorites in there.
Yeah, maybe the fan reaction was just so negative. Like people were pissed that the game characters didn't show up, and maybe Capcom said something. I don't know. I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, because he seemed very adamant against it. The character of LJ in the film was specifically written for Snoop Dogg, but he dropped out of the production and was replaced with Mike Epps, after which the character was slightly rewritten to suit Epps' personality. And I think seeing Snoop Dogg in this would have been kind of weird. It would have been funny, but I don't think I would have been able to look past it just being Snoop Dogg.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be really distracting.
Like, oh, yep, that's Snoop Dogg with Jill Valentine.
Yeah. Snoop Dogg fighting Nemesis. Okay, I didn't think I'd see that ever in my life.
The guitarist for Evanescence, Ben Moody, was also given a cameo in the film as a zombie that was killed by a throwing knife.
I don't even remember a throwing knife.
It was, I think it's near the end, where Carlos throws a knife. He's like, you missed one.
Sure. I'll take your word for it.
And filming took place in Toronto, with the surrounding suburbs being used to portray Raccoon City. Despite Raccoon City apparently being in Berlin in the last film, but whatever.
And it's also supposed to be based on the American Midwest in the games, but the games are also very inconsistent with what it's supposed to look like.
Apparently, when they show it on the weather map at the beginning of the film, it looks like it's somewhere in, I think they said Pennsylvania. And I guess in the novelization of the first Resident Evil game, it takes like Raccoon City is, or the Arklay Mountains are supposed to be in Pennsylvania. So I guess canonically Raccoon City is in Pennsylvania.
Interesting. Okay.
Which I didn't know. But
I mean, I don't know how canon that novelization is, but I buy it.
You'd buy the novelization? It's probably like $5.
Fuck off.
Very few sets were used for the film, and instead they relied on the natural city blocks for filming. One big set, I guess, that they used would be the Prince Edward Viaduct Bridge, which was closed for 3 days so that some of the scenes could be shot on it. Which is pretty crazy because, I mean, that's a whole bridge that they're closing for 3 days.
Yeah, that must have been really disruptive for everybody living in Toronto.
They're probably pissed as hell. They're like, yeah, so we're going to do it on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And once again, dancers were brought on to be the zombies and were given a zombie boot camp to make sure that their movements were right. They must need a lot of dancers for this one, because they had a lot of zombies.
Yeah, no kidding.
And then I also found that there was some relation to the games in this movie. Like apparently the intro scene for Code Veronica inspired the scene where Alice runs through a building while an Umbrella helicopter fires at her. The scene of the cops and the Umbrella soldiers fighting back against the zombies in the streets was inspired by RE3. And then obviously we talked about the Jill wears the same outfit here that she does in RE3. And then, but they have different reasoning because in here they mention like, yeah, there's a heat wave. Because compared to the other cops, she's not dressed like a cop.
Is that why?
Yeah. And because in the original game, she's supposed to be going out for a night on the town, and then she's attacked.
Right. And I think in the remake, it's just that like she's caught off guard. I don't remember the heat wave tying into things at all.
They barely mention it, which is why it's really funny, because they're like, it's a heat wave. It's 92 today.
Also, how quaint. A heat wave at 92 degrees.
Apparently they, in real life, they were filming like November too, so they were all fucking cold.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's a shot with Nemesis screaming where you could see his breath.
They didn't even edit it out. Wow. Tisk tisk.
Just set the movie in the fall.
No, that can't happen. It would ruin the canon too much. Also in the first film, at the end, Jason Isaacs appeared playing William Birkin, but due to scheduling conflicts, he couldn't return for this film and was replaced by Jared Harris as a completely different character. So instead of just recasting him, when he appeared with just his eyes showing, they just made a whole new character who was Dr. Ashford. And in the Resident Evil lore, the Ashfords are like big names at Umbrella, and I think they're kind of like the villains of Code Veronica.
I think so, yeah.
And then this means that Angela was also probably likely meant to be Sherry Birkin in the original version.
Okay. Yeah. I don't even remember Birkin from RE1, like the movie.
It's literally at the end when they're like looking at her. It's Jason Isaacs, and he has like the medical mask on and the do-rag. the surgical hat that they wear.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Pretty weird that they didn't just recast him, because I don't know, they didn't show him that much.
Yeah, they could have just had Jared Harris play Birkin, which, by the way, it was really nice to see Jared Harris pop up.
Big Jared Harris fan over here.
Yeah, I am. He's good and everything.
And then the Nemesis character was created completely practically with a costume, and the only added CGI elements were on his eye, which was mostly just for close-ups. And the actor who played Nemesis, Matthew G. Taylor, was chosen partly because he was 6 foot 7 inches tall, making him a suitable height to play the character. And the costume weighed anywhere from 60 to 100 pounds. I can't find the exact number, but I mean, either way, that is a lot of weight added on. The guy already weighed like 300 pounds.
Jesus Christ.
I think it's at 320. So he'd be like 380 with all that shit on.
Yeah, respect to him. He looked good. Nemesis looks good in this movie. I'm really glad they went with a full practical outfit. Obviously, he's not as tall. Even at 6'7", he's not as tall as he's supposed to be, but the rest of it looks pretty spot on.
Yeah, I think that Nemesis is kind of inherently impossible to portray because he's just huge.
He's like 15 feet tall.
Yeah, I think this one maybe looked a bit too top-heavy, but I mean, for the time, it's 2003, so I'll give him a pass. I think it looked pretty good.
Yeah, and I think the sound design, too, is really good. The stars yell is spot on. They even have, like, the boots stomping. They nail it. Like, I couldn't ask for a better Nemesis. I mean, if you're going completely practical, it's a lot harder to do better than this.
Good job, Resident Evil.
Moving on to the state of movies and Resident Evil at the time of release, some notable films coming out around this time include Collateral, The Princess Diaries 2, Alien vs. Predator, which we just discussed, Hero, Cellular, Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow, and The Forgotten.
What the hell is Cellular?
What the hell is Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow? What is all of this?
I know that one.
You do?
Yeah, it was popping up on like Netflix for a while. I think it has Jude Law in it.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
You know, I think The Princess Diaries 2 is the biggest competition here.
Yeah.
Not Alien vs. Predator.
Yeah, it's a bit weird that Alien vs. Predator would be releasing around the same time as Anderson's own franchise. For all intents and purposes, he would direct 4 of the 6 films and write all 6 of them, so really weird.
He was patting his tears away with the money that he got.
Right, yeah, exactly. Kind of a dead zone, I would say, movie-wise. I mean, I've seen Collateral. Collateral is an excellent movie. The rest of this I can't speak to. And then
when did it come out?
2004. In September?
Months. Oh, September. Oh, that's...
I think I might be wrong about that. I don't have the spreadsheet pulled up.
I'm looking it up right now.
They tried to release...
Yeah, September.
Yeah, I think most of these films come out in September. The live-action ones, anyway. I think there was one exception to that, but they're pretty consistent about when they put them out. Like, even the reboot, which we're going to discuss later, I think also came out in September. And the new one this year comes out in September.
It makes sense, especially back then, because it would lead all the way into, like, October.
Yeah.
So, although I would think that they want to release it. I don't know.
And then looking at Resident Evil, between the first 2 films, there were 2 new entries in the franchise released exclusively on PlayStation 2. 2003's Resident Evil Dead Aim, which was a spin-off combining third-person exploration with first-person light gun shooter style combat. This also marked the end of the Gun Survivor subseries, which are a long line of light gun games from the PS1. And the original Resident Evil Survivor actually was shipped without light gun support because Capcom felt it would be distasteful since it was releasing immediately after the Columbine school shooting. Which, I mean, like, there's a couple things I've got to say about that. First of all, how quaint. Like, it's really rare for a corporation to acknowledge something like that at all today, let alone make a business decision as a result of it. And then the other thing is, like, you're still releasing the game. You just took the light gun support out of it. I don't know. It's just weird. The other game also released was Resident Evil Outbreak, which would be the franchise's first game with online multiplayer. It's kind of like the original games with the fixed cameras, and you and some other people online would pick one of 8 characters each with unique abilities and backstories, and there's like a series of levels in like these smaller Resident Evil type campaigns. I haven't played it myself yet, but I do want to. If you get a PS2,
damn it,
there are, I think, fan-made servers, like fan-hosted servers you can use. Otherwise, you'd have to emulate it, and I think emulating the online multiplayer might be a nightmare. There's no local multiplayer options, so they've never like done a re-release of it, but I would love if they did. You know, just touch it up a little bit.
It's impressive to me that they made it back on the PS2. I guess, I don't know.
It's very forward-thinking. Like, it's one of the first online console games that I can think of. And it kind of feels like a, I guess, progenitor to Left 4 Dead. I mean, obviously, the classic Resident Evil formula is different than Left 4 Dead in a lot of ways. But the idea of, like, 4 people going through these smaller campaigns, fighting zombies, it is very Left 4 Dead in a way.
Yeah, it sounds pretty interesting.
And they're canon, too. Like, for a long time, people weren't sure if they were canon, but they're referenced in RE7. And then one of the playable characters is Alyssa Ashcroft, who shows up in RE9, so they're fully canon.
Is this the one with the zoo in it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, where they have like zombie elephants and zombie lions or whatever.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
And then they don't have those in RE5, despite the fact that the game takes place in Africa.
Well,
I guess they had to make room for the racist tribesmen, characters.
No, those weren't racist.
Oh, do go on.
No, I don't think I have to defend myself. Now, I guess we move on to the plot synopsis in the discussion. So we start off with a flashback of the events at the end of the previous movie with former security operative Alice and environmental activist Matt Addison as they escape the hive after the zombie outbreak. They are captured by Umbrella, and then Matt is taken away, and Alice is taken away and locked in a room and I think experimented on. And then we start with this movie, because that was all just a recap, because I guess they thought that the viewers were stupid.
Yeah.
And a team from Umbrella investigating the hive is overrun by zombies, which spreads the outbreak to the nearby Raccoon City. In response, Umbrella quarantines the city and evacuates crucial personnel. Angela Ashford, daughter of researcher Dr. Charles Ashford, goes missing after her security car is involved in a collision during the evacuation. Meanwhile, disgraced STARS operative Jill Valentine returns to her precinct to urge her fellow officers to evacuate. Alice awakens in a deserted hospital and wanders the city for supplies while Umbrella evacuates civilians via the only bridge. At the bridge, Jill encounters her former partner, Sergeant Peyton Wells, but a civilian turns into a zombie, biting Wells. Upon the outbreak reaching the bridge, Major Timothy Kane, leader of Umbrella Forces, seals the exit, forcing residents back into the city.
Okay. Yeah, so we start with a recap. To me, it seemed immediately apparent that the budget on this movie was higher because the intro is fancier, I would say. Like the CG that they're using, even for just like the umbrella logo, is fancier. The recap is unnecessary for us. Maybe general moviegoers could have used a refresher. I don't know. It's not that
guess.
long. I don't know if the first movie's really worth the recap, but I guess they do follow up on what happens to Matt in this movie. So, whatever.
I didn't realize that that was what spread the outbreak, I guess. Like them going back to the hive and the
Yeah,
zombies attacking them. I didn't get that.
that's definitely a retcon. I mean, when we end the first film, the hive is still sealed shut by the Red Queen.
Yeah.
And the only infected that are out, as far as we know, are Alice and Matt, who are both quarantined. So it's not as if there's a bunch of zombies that snuck out. So it had to have happened while Alice was under anesthesia or something. Also,
I
they
guess,
totally
yeah.
retcon Alice's job too, because she says that she's the head of security. That's never established. In the last
Well,
movie, we just learned that she's a security guard. Like, now she's the head of security at the Hive. That's a big fucking difference.
to be fair, they also never said her name in the first movie, so
Well, that too, yeah. I was a really big fan of the opening of this movie, to be quite honest. Again, like going back to the budget, like maybe not even so much the fact that they have more money, but the money is on screen. Like there's the car crash, there's helicopters, there's these big sweeping shots of the city, which would indicate that they closed down city streets and city blocks. Uh, the action is better. The cinematography is better. The editing is kind of crazy.
oh,
I think it only gets worse at the very end for me, but like the first movie compared to this one, it just feels so cheap. And I think a part of that is that the first movie mostly takes place underground in these like hallways and laboratories and stuff. And this film has a ton of open, wide environments with a shitload of zombies, like you pointed out earlier. Like there is a lot more going on in each frame than there was in the last movie.
it almost makes you wonder how the first one, because this one was like, well, we're not getting the budget yet, but it was more expensive than the first movie, but not by much.
No, it was an extra 12 million. The first film cost 33 million to make. This one cost 45. So I really would like to know where the money went in that first movie, because the first movie
Yeah.
almost feels like it was direct to VHS, like thrown together for $50,000 compared to this. This feels like a blockbuster. Like it's got a sheen to it, that polish that feels professional, like a real blockbuster. Like this is still not like a blockbuster like John Wick or something, but this would be more like I don't know, a direct to Netflix, or maybe that's doing this movie a disservice. But you know what I mean, like because I don't think Netflix movies look this good. But
Could it just be the cinematographer? Because I think visually it looked a lot better.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
Because I don't think it's the same. If it's the same person, I'd be shocked.
I would be shocked as well. I mean, obviously, different director too.
Yeah.
That's a big one. Cinematography from the first film, David Johnson, doesn't have a Wikipedia page.
David
Cinematography for the second film, Christian Sebalt and Derek Rogers. Sebalt has a Wikipedia page. What's he done? He is an Emmy-winning cinematographer for his work on CSI. He also shot Final Destination's Bloodlines, which is the one that came out last year. So there you go. Yeah, the movie looked good. The movie looked very good. I think the action scenes were a lot better than the ones in the first film. And yeah, it's just nice to see real environments. I don't know, like
Yeah.
there were a few scenes in the first movie, like the laser hallway, that were pretty cool, but the rest of it felt very cheap. And then, we talked about it last week, but there was that scene with the like alien looking batteries, like from the movie
Yeah,
Alien, that don't fit at all.
like
That
the
felt,
warehouse area or whatever.
yeah, that was like recycled from another movie. It felt like,
Hmm.
but this has like a really nice sheen. Like it's clearly like, again, like the games, ripping off James Cameron. Everything has got that blue color correction and lighting like Terminator 2. But that's not a bad thing. Watching them back to back, it's fucking night and day.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. I thought the same thing like that first shot because I'm pretty sure the first bit was all from the last movie. Unless they reshot it, I couldn't tell.
I think they did reshoot it.
Okay.
The the guys in the suit, I don't know. It looked like that the shots were different, and I think Matt's makeup on his scratched arm from the liquor looked different too.
I was kind of wondering. I was like, did they reshoot this or not? But I mean, I guess they kind of left it in the previous film style. But as soon as like that first shot of not anything from the previous movie, it was clearly like I could tell already. I was like, oh, this looks a lot different.
Yeah, the like door to the hive looks a million times better than the door to the hive from the last movie in terms of scope and just like visual quality. Even that shot before they truck down, to the hive, and it's just like the suburban street with the lady jogging. I'm like, this feels like a real movie now, whereas the last one did not feel like a real movie. I also like that when they do the recap or like the reshooting of the end of the first movie. This time they have Alice walk past a newspaper with a headline that says "The Dead Walk," which
Oh yeah.
I thought that was great. It's like, oh, they had enough time to write this, edit this, publish this, and distribute it to all the newspaper sellers in Raccoon City before the outbreak killed them all. That's really convenient.
I was expecting when they show her walking around the city, she goes to a surplus store. I was totally thinking it was going to be Kendo's gun shop.
Oh, that would have been clever. I mean,
Guess
maybe
I'm
not
smarter
clever,
than Paul
but
W.S. Anderson.
it would have been a layup. Like that should have
Yeah.
been what happened.
I feel like there's a lot of things like that in this that I'm like, oh, they're going to do this, and then they don't. I think I have the same problem already in this one. Because the first like half hour, it starts off with Alice, but then we just focus on Jill. When Alice is supposed to be the main character. And it just feels weird to me.
I felt the same way. It was kind of weird how Alice shows up for the recap and then she disappears until she shows up in the church. And what an entrance. The motorcycle through the stained glass.
We're
is
not
like,
there yet.
okay, all right, sorry. Fine. I'm sorry that this movie's so fucking important to you. We can't talk about it out of order. But yeah, no, it was weird, but I actually didn't mind because I like Jill. Like, Jill's my favorite protagonist from the games. And, I don't know. I thought she was pretty good in this movie. Following her and Peyton, who's the other stars guy.
The made up guy.
Oh, yeah, is he made up?
Yeah, I saw it in like some trivia. He's not in the games. Which seems weird because I feel like they could have just got someone.
Yeah, there's like over a dozen stars members. Which is funny because
Who's
they
in the-
literally murder over a dozen stars members in this movie.
Who's in who was in the game? Is it Barry?
Yeah, there's Barry.
Or is it Brad?
No, well, both. Brad's the helicopter pilot. Barry is the guy who is with Jill in her campaign. And then there's Chris and Rebecca.
Well, in 3. Because one of them shows up.
Yeah.
He's like, you gotta get out of
yes,
here, Jill.
Yes, Brad shows up in 3, and he gets he gets torn apart. Yeah.
They should have just done that because clearly they're going against canon already. Like, they're not taking the games into account because this movie completely goes against the plot of 3.
Yeah. So in the same way that Anderson is now using game characters, he's also going against what he established in the last film, which is, oh, this is going to be a prequel to the games. No, this is nothing like the games. I mean, there's imagery and characters now being taken from the games, but in a lot of ways it is quite different. Yeah, it should have just been Brad. I mean, whatever. I don't care. I liked Peyton. Not that he had a lot to do, but he was around a lot longer than I thought he was going to be. And also, I'm going to go out of order
Yeah.
again. He got killed really unceremoniously.
He just kind of got shot.
Just gets cut down and turned into Swiss cheese by a minigun, and then they keep moving. There's like a 1 second shot of his body on the ground, and I don't think anybody even like mourns him.
They're like, oh no. Anyways.
That shot on the bridge with all those extras, that was really impressive to me. Because again, like, to close down that bridge and then also to populate it with so many people has got to be expensive. And it looks good.
Is that in the games where they only had one bridge in and out? I don't think it is, but...
Well, I don't know the geography of Raccoon City in this movie, but in the games, it's just like a normal landlocked city.
Mm-hmm.
At least as far as I know. But in this, it's almost like Escape from New York, where it's like an island that they've blocked off all the exits from.
At one point, it looked like they had walls up too.
Yeah, they have giant walls up, like again, like Escape from New York, like it's a giant prison basically. This quarantine zone that they have here. I guess they do have the shot at the end of the city being bombed. I can't remember what it looked like in that.
Because they were saying the only way out was over this bridge. Unless they're saying, like, that was the only way left out.
So I'm watching the clip now, and it looks like Raccoon City is by the water. Raccoon City is not an island, but it's on the coast. So I don't know what to tell you. I don't know why that bridge would be the only way out. I guess the rest of it might have been walled off already, and Umbrella only gave themselves one way in and out of the quarantine zone.
That's what makes most sense to me.
Yeah.
That'll be my headcanon, I guess. The only other thing I'll mention right now is what they kept doing this thing when they showed the zombies, where they did like that weird slow-mo, like, you know what the, like, it's slow motion, it's really like jittery kind of.
Oh yeah, they didn't shoot it in the right shutter speed. Yeah.
Yeah, I hated that.
Yeah, it never looks
really
good.
Annoyed me.
It always feels like an afterthought when a movie doesn't shoot it slow-mo correctly.
Yeah.
Even if it is
honestly,
like a stylistic choice, it looks very bad, I agree.
Yeah, and there was a lot of editing kind of throughout the movie. Like at the end, I felt like I was getting a headache.
Oh, dude,
there was so many cuts back and forth.
My last note on my my sheet here is that if you have epilepsy, do not watch this movie. Because the editing at the end is so nuts. I don't think it's that bad in the beginning, and I really love the beginning. Like, I genuinely love it. I think the first, like, 20 to 30 minutes of this are, like, a solid action movie. I don't think it's, like, amazing or anything, but, like, if this was on cable, this feels like something that would, like, play all the time on TNT, and I would totally just sit there and let it play and just watch the whole thing.
The whole 5-hour movie that it turns into with ads.
Oh, God. One thing before moving on, I do like when Jill shows up and she goes into the police station and just starts executing these people who are handcuffed.
Oh, yeah.
And then that fucking techno music is playing in the background.
Also, several of those, literally, like, there was a cop behind the person that she shot at, and, like, probably realistically that bullet might have gone through and just killed the cop behind him, too. She's just shooting. It's like a loaded police station with people all over. She's just basically shooting into a crowd.
Yeah. Also, why does it say in the plot synopsis that she's disgraced? When the fuck did that happen or ever get established?
It's like some... So, there's like a news article, and I guess I read somewhere else because they barely show it. So they show like a news article, and I guess it's talking about what happened at the mansion in the Arklay Mountains, which I guess means that Resident Evil 1 is canon.
Yeah.
But then they were just like, no, we're just going to abandon that now. We'll make our own.
I mean, I guess... Wait, are you talking about in the first movie or in this one?
The events of the first Resident Evil game with Jill. That's why she's disgraced.
But what newspaper? It's in this movie?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, there's nothing in here that I guess contradicts RE1. So they could still treat it as canon. I'm sure they won't. I'm sure it's only going to get sloppier from here. But, okay. Moving on. After being abandoned by their employer, Umbrella soldiers Carlos, Olivera and Nikolai Ginofiev, 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 Genoviev, team up with surviving police units to repel various zombie attacks. There's a position is overrun. Carlos is bitten and infected. Meanwhile, Jill, Wells, I thought it was Wells. Is that Peyton? And reporter Terry Morales are saved by Alice just before being overrun. Umbrella deploys the mutated super soldier Nemesis, who kills the remaining stars before searching for Alice. Dr. Ashford hacks into the CCTV system to contact Alice and the survivors, offering to arrange their evacuation in exchange for rescuing his daughter. He makes the same offer to Carlos and Genoviev, explaining Umbrella plans to destroy Raccoon City with a nuclear warhead to eliminate the infection.
I'd like to offer a correction here. It's not a mutated super soldier because he's an activist, so it'd be a mutated super activist.
A mutated environmentalist, yeah. Yeah, that's right. This is a lot. This is a lot of the movie. What did you think of the church scene? Or before that, even the scenes in the street with the cops and the umbrella soldiers and stuff?
I liked that because it showed like the chaos that was going on. But at the same time, I felt like Carlos and Nikolai did not need to be in this.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't think they need to be in it. I guess if you're paying homage to RE3, you want to stick them in. And I mean, Nikolai is so different in this movie than he is in the games.
Yeah.
No, I like that scene a lot too. I think it's nice to see the chaos in the city, and it looks really good at night with all the explosions and stuff, and you got all the cops and the umbrella guys coming out of the vans. And like the first movie was trying to do that tactical action stuff too, with the squad with like Rain and One and Kaplan and stuff, and it didn't really work as much.
No, because they didn't even feel like soldiers in that one.
No, not really. Their outfits were a lot cheaper too, compared to the ones that these guys have. It's weird. Even like the faceless umbrella guards, like at the chopper at the end of the movie, have better looking armor than the first movies.
That's where all the budget went.
The ones that are wearing like motorcycle helmets.
You mean riot gear?
Yeah, we'll call it that. I really think that the liquor CGI is hugely improved compared to the first movie. Like, I didn't even think it looked bad in the first one, but it looks a lot more convincing and like detailed now.
Mm-hmm.
It's still clearly CGI, but it looks a lot more like high fidelity.
I read they actually built a set for the church instead of just... I mean, obviously they probably couldn't shoot in a church because they like destroy it. But
there was no church in Toronto that would let them smash a motorcycle through the stained glass window.
Come on, guys, just let us do it. We'll build you another one.
This movie is Christian. This is a very... I'm just like imagining them trying to pitch it to a church.
We have the demons.
The T-virus is Satan. So...
T-virus. You can't spell Satan without a T.
There you go. I almost thought for a second that the liquors were going to be blind, which would contradict the first movie, but I don't care.
They didn't do the liquors right.
No, they came close. I thought when Peyton like pulled Jill back and covered her mouth, that was like Peyton's way of like demonstrating that if they were quiet, the liquors wouldn't come after them. But yeah, they don't follow through on that. And
they also literally show like a POV shot of like your liquor, and it just sees everything in red.
Yeah, it's like
it has
predator vision or something. Yeah. Motorcycle through the window was very funny. That is like the perfect level of stupid. I found it very funny. Alice sucks, man. Alice is so stupid.
I like how she just knew to jump through that window. She's like, there's people in there that need my help.
Yeah, that's a great point. What I mean, first of all,
maybe she lost control.
Well, you know what? I don't want to joke about that. But, yeah, I mean, she'd have to get the motorcycle, make a ramp, or find a ramp, and it's like, yeah, how did she know they were in there? I don't know. Alice is stupid. Continues to be one of the worst parts of these. No fault to Jovovich. It's just the writing is so stupid. And, like, this is the right balance of, like, stupidness for me, where it's like she's, like, such a I don't want to say like Mary Sue or whatever, because like it's who gives a fucking shit. But it's like she's just like such a badass all the time. Like in the last movie, she was doing wall kicks and jumps and shit to like kick dogs out of midair. I don't know. It's just like when you're on the playground and a kid is like, and my character has super strength and super speed, and they have force fields, and it's like that's basically Alice, especially by the end of this. And by the end of this movie, it crosses over into a level of stupid that I'm not fucking with.
I had the same exact thought. Like, especially in this one, like from when she first shows up here, she just like murders the lickers, and then I'm like, okay. And then throughout the whole movie, the whole thing, I'm just getting the vibe of like this is an original character that is super OP and can do everything better than like the main characters from the games.
Yes.
It's like a fan fiction insert character.
Absolutely. This is Alice the Hedgehog. She's faster than Sonic, stronger than Knuckles, smarter than Tails. Yeah, pretty much.
And Jill even says it later. She's like, I'm pretty good, but I'm not that good.
Yeah. And I'm sure some people listening to the show are aware of the fact that, and maybe most people aren't, but Paul W.S. Anderson and Mila Jovovich are married. But that doesn't happen until like after the 4th or 5th movie in the series. So it's not as if he's writing for his wife. Like, they're just co-workers at this point. They might have been dating on and off again or something. I heard that was happening, like where they were breaking up a lot. But that's not part of this. It's just Anderson is like, I want to make my character. And my character is going to be the coolest and the strongest and the fastest. And
well, so apparently it happened during the first one because she almost quit because she was mad that they were trying to put Michelle Rodriguez's character more in the forefront, and then she was like sitting down with Anderson, and then she's like, yeah, that's when we started, like that's like what got us together. So maybe during this one they were dating.
Maybe. I just remember looking up when they got married, and it was way later than I thought it was.
I mean, in which case it's not a good look for them, but
are you telling me Paul W.S. Anderson and Mila Jovovich are bad people?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. It's not like Jovovich just made her own AI that she's trying to shill and force upon people. Okay. That's all I got.
It says they started dating after Resident Evil in 2002. He proposed to her in 2003, and they were engaged on and off for 4 years.
Wow. Engaged on and off.
In 2000, before becoming a couple again in early 2007.
Oh, what a mess. It's not in the plot synopsis, but is this when LJ is distracted by zombie prostitutes and crashes his car? Because that made me laugh out loud.
I think so, yeah. Wait, it might be in the next one. They haven't mentioned him yet, even though he's in the opening scene at the police station.
It just says the next paragraph mentions when they meet him again, but it doesn't mention anything about him running into Nemesis. Oh, I guess it would be like right here. I like the cemetery fight.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
It was like the editing was kind of crazy, but it kind of felt like the over-the-top stylish action that the first movie was going for, but again, just executed better. Like they're doing like flips and they're smashing zombies' heads into tombstones, and it's kind of crazy to watch. But like that's the tone the first movie set up, so I think it's following the rules of the assignment.
I was a little confused because why were the dead zombies coming out of the graves?
Oh shit, I didn't even notice that.
And also they'd be like decomposed. I was reading the trivia after, and it was saying something about like how the liquid from the underground area turned into a vapor and escaped into the ground, and that's how they were turning the dead bodies into zombies. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
Also, it's
like
not,
a mile underground.
It's not explained at all.
No.
Yeah, it's like a sealed lab deep underground. It doesn't make any sense. I also thought it was fun to see Zach Ward in this, who plays the postal dude. He's great. He plays Nikolai. And then he gets his face ripped off by a dog.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
What did you think of Nemesis? I guess we talked about him already. He fucking rules.
He's cool, but I don't like the changes to him.
What changes?
Well,
Other than
first
the
of all,
height.
he's just some random fucking guy
Oh,
that
yeah,
apparently transformed.
that part. Yeah. I guess, I mean, again, going off of what the first movie set up, like, it's not a bad resolution. It's like, okay, Matt, I mean, spoiler alert for like 10 minutes from now, but Matt is revealed to be Nemesis, which anybody with 2 brain cells would be able to figure out.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Because
put him in the Nemesis program.
And then, we're going to deploy Nemesis. And it's like, well, okay, so he's clearly Matt. I didn't like that they gave him like real eyes, but I guess it helps with the story between Matt and Alice, like the resolution of that. Like, if he didn't have real eyes, like I'm thinking that's why she realized it was Matt underneath it.
Didn't realize.
Well, you know what I mean.
I guess
he had like pupils, and in the games they're just solid white.
So I think when they were doing that, I was like, it hit me. I was like, why do they have such a strong connect? It's just some random guy that she met, and they knew each other for like a couple hours.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess it's just like, oh, they got out of the weird situation together, and like everyone else died, so maybe that's why. But
yeah, there's some trauma bonding, but I do agree also, like, I don't know, he's kind of a giant monster now. I don't know if he would want to live the rest of his life like that.
maybe
Alice seemed to have no problem saying that she would put Peyton down in the cemetery when he was bit. So I don't know why she's so hesitant about Matt. It's not as if they're like close friends or lovers or anything like that. Also, I love Alice's outfit in this movie. It's even worse than the last one. I didn't think that would be possible. She's got like that weird loose mesh shirt, tank top thing over a tube top.
Yeah, they're telling me they had that at the military surplus shop.
Also, her hair is like bleached blonde now. At least partially.
Also, the holes on the side of her head are gone, like I said.
Yep. Yeah, I was looking for that. What's weird is they went through the effort of reshooting the hospital exit from the last movie. So it's like if they wanted to, they could have just moved where the tubes were so that they weren't on her forehead anymore. But no, they just kept it and, kept the continuity error. Let's see. What else happens in this paragraph? Angela, any thoughts on Angela?
Well, the whole, like, Angela and then Charles Ashford thing that was like the main plot of it. Basically, was that they were just trying to find this child so they could get out of the city, but
yeah,
I didn't really care about them.
No, me neither.
Like,
other than the fact
the plot of this.
If it wasn't Jared Harris, I would not have cared about that guy at all. And it was, it was a pretty boring plot.
Yeah, the plot was paper thin. It was just mostly just finding ways to string together random action scenes.
Yeah, I won't disagree with that. I think the script is just as weak as it was last time around.
I'd say it was weaker here.
I guess we have the stuff with... Yeah, it might be weaker, actually. I mean, like, there's the stuff with Alice and Nemesis and the twist there, which isn't really a twist. There's the evil umbrella guy. Nobody gives a shit about him. There's the reporter that doesn't really... I mean, I guess it goes somewhere at the end because they find her camcorder, but she's not, like, involved in the story actively. She gets killed just as unceremoniously as Peyton. Yeah, no, you're right. The umbrella guys could have totally just not been there, too. It's not even like Carlos and Jill have chemistry together. They maybe have a couple scenes near the end after they get captured.
They were almost trying to... Or it seemed to me like they were trying to have chemistry between Alice and Carlos.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I was like, why?
Because Alice is Anderson's OC, and Jill is not. I do like how this movie is kind of the opposite of the last one. Not just in, like, terms of the sets and environments, but also, like, the first movie is, like, a big group going in together that gets slowly whittled down. And then this movie is kind of like all these stragglers that, like, come together at the end. Which I actually did like that. Not that they're very interesting people. or anything like that. But it was fun to see the formula kind of flipped on its head.
Yeah, I mentioned at one point, I was like, well, once again, I can't name a character besides Alice, Jill, and Carlos.
Yeah,
'Cause
if
they
they're
don't
not a
introduce them.
yeah, if they're not a game character or Alice, I don't know who they are. Like they say Charles Ashford and then Angela Ashford, sure, but like I don't think we ever get the reporter's name. Maybe once.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Peyton's
It's
name is
Terry,
mentioned like
but-
twice.
Mhm.
The bad guy I don't think is ever name dropped.
No.
Yeah, no, it's not the series' strong suit, it seems.
At first, I thought that they were going to drop Nemesis out of the... Like how they do in the game where they drop him in a giant bin, but then it was just his weapons, which would have been cool. But I guess he was just in the city, so... Doesn't really matter.
Well, at the end, LJ says, like, hey, we're stealing his ride, implying that Nemesis is just going to get into the back of the helicopter
Yeah.
and just go home.
He's gonna... They got a nice Airbnb for him. He's gonna sit by the fire, read a book.
Yeah. Hey, Nemesis, we've got to talk about the state that you left my Airbnb in. I mean, that typical cleaning fee is, for, like a dirty toilet or something, but you've blown a hole through my wall. You've got tentacle slime and drool all over the place, scaring the neighbors. I mean,
You just walk through walls instead of using the doors.
the idea of Nemesis smashing through Airbnb walls is very funny.
Oh, Nemesis bathroom.
Turds.
Nemesis, what TV channel you want to watch? Stars.
Nemesis, where do you want to go after work? Bars.
Nemesis, what's that driving on the road? Cars.
God, this bit is so stupid. Fuck us, man. All right.
While heading to Angela, Alice and the group are ambushed by Nemesis. Jill kills Wells after he turns into a zombie. That's like 10 minutes later. Jill kills Wells after he turns into a zombie. Alice fights Nemesis but is injured, leading her to draw him away from the others. Jill and Terry rescue stranded civilian LJ and later meet Carlos to find Angela, though Terry and Nikolai are killed. Angela reveals that the zombie outbreak stems from the T-virus created by her father to treat her genetic condition, and she requires an antivirus serum to avoid becoming a zombie. Alice uses some of the serum to cure Carlos. Dr. Ashford informs Alice of an extraction point with a waiting helicopter. The group reaches the rendezvous but are ambushed by Umbrella forces. Who the fuck is Kane?
Yeah, exactly. Kane is just the evil
Dean
Umbrella
Cain.
guy. I think he's also German too, so he might be some holdover from a Constantine film production.
He's one of the executives.
I mean, hey, they're not above it.
Kane kills Dr. Ashford and compels Alice, revealed to be enhanced by the T-virus, to fight Nemesis. Alice subdues Nemesis, but stops when she discovers that Nemesis is Matt, who was mutated by Umbrella's experiments. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, the twist everybody saw coming. Not even people who just saw the last movie, but even if you walked into this blind, they telegraph it so far in advance with the re-recorded stuff from the end of the first movie.
The twist that even Stevie Wonder could see coming.
Like they literally say they play the echoing like flashback audio of bring him into the Nemesis program like 6 times.
They didn't even make it subtle like in the first one. It's literally like the shot of the guy's like, yeah, put him in the Nemesis program.
Yeah. Well, I take issue with the fact that you think any of the first movie was subtle.
No, I'm saying it wasn't subtle.
Oh, yeah, the first movie wasn't subtle. Gotcha. This is the cliffhanger for the second movie, as they might as well have said. Nemesis turns on Kane. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, we haven't talked about this yet.
I don't really have anything to say.
Oh. This part includes one of my favorite lines where they're like, okay, we have to split up to search the school. And then she goes, I've never shot a gun before. And she gives her a gun. She's like, there's nothing to it. You just point and shoot. And I'm like, okay, sure. A police officer saying that.
Well, yeah, I mean, if she's a police officer, she's had like 2 weeks of training, so she knows what she's talking about.
Yeah, I just opened fire in a police station. I didn't do anything.
I do like the scene where Alice is running from Nemesis. I thought
Yeah,
that
that was
was all
cool.
that was all very good. The stuff with like the car explosion and she's like getting shot into the air, where she's like doing the slide in the hallway and she's shooting at his legs and she goes down the garbage chute. That was cool. Yeah,
It
no,
did
it's good stuff.
it did kind of fall into that OC category again though, because in Resident Evil 3, Jill is the one to fight Nemesis, and he's like, actually, let my OC fight the Nemesis character.
Yeah, and Alice is actually, I don't know how he talks, and Alice
The
is
George Lucas
actually
voice.
Alice is actually going to be a better fighter than Jill.
She's gonna be my wife.
She's yeah, I mean, like, yeah, no, it's some crazy shit, but it's entertaining. The only part that was a little silly is after she gets to the bottom of the trash chute, she's in like what's clearly a plastic tub, and Nemesis shoots a rocket down the chute, and instead of her hiding in that tub going flying 200 feet in the air, there's just a fireball behind her, and she's totally fine.
It went down the sewer.
Oh, is that what that was?
No, I'm just making shit
No.
up.
I was gonna say it's like a laundry hamper or something, or a garbage dumpster. But yeah, it was good, and I think even well, I think the editing in the Alice versus Nemesis like fight at the end sucks. It's like borderline incomprehensible. The way that all the shots are way too close and the cuts are too fast. You can't really tell what the hell is happening. But in theory, I do like the idea of this like one-on-one brawl. Although again, it proves that like Alice is such an OC, like such a like overpowered character.
Yeah, there's also that scene. Oh yeah, so they get Angela in the school, and then they have Jill going through. Which, first of all, also Angela goes, "Those things are in here, and it's a dog." She doesn't know what a dog is, apparently. But then Jill goes through and she turns on the gas from the stoves. And then
Yeah,
they're
dude,
running out and she throws her matchbook. And then Alice is just standing outside and throws a cigarette and instead blows it up instead of Jill.
Yes, I totally forgot about that. I totally forgot
So
about that.
dumb.
So over the top, perfect level of stupid, but also, again, completely undermines Jill as a character because Jill tries to do the cool action protagonist thing. It fails. Alice is the one who does it. Yes.
She's
And
also
then-
standing like 100 feet away from the door, so I don't know how the cigarette went that far.
Well, she's bonded with the T-virus at a cellular level, Thomas. And it's like, again, they huddle under like what looks like a space blanket, like 10 feet
Oh,
from
yeah.
the door, and all the flames wash over them, and they're completely fine.
don't
man.
know where she got that from.
That I don't know.
Did you also think that Angela was going to be a clone of Alice? Because they look alike, and then they both have the virus.
No, but I did have something in my notes. I was wondering, is Angela the model for the Red Queen? Because
I
like
think
the
it
red
was supposed to be...
the Red Queen is like the little girl voice and also like the hologram. And I'm like, is that it? And I looked it up and it's not. It's not the same girl. Maybe it's intended to be, but like it's not the same actor. And it's never explicitly stated in the movie, but I did think that would be kind of cool if Ashford made the Red Queen AI and then modeled it after his daughter.
I think I was reading and it said like that was... They didn't outright say it, but that was like kind of the intention. I guess they go back to it later, though.
Okay.
In one of the other movies or something.
Sure. Fuck it. We'll find out.
Also, apparently, the first one, since we're talking about the Red Queen, apparently the first movie is all about like Alice in Wonderland.
Right. Yeah. Alice, the Red Queen,
The
Rain,
umbrella employee
yeah,
has
Shade.
off with her head. And then she cuts her head off in the elevator. Down the rabbit hole in the lab. Apparently Alice kills Lisa with the Alice in Wonderland paperweight. I don't know how the fuck you're supposed to know that, because it looks like a square.
Yeah, it's like a glass cube. Okay, well, that's interesting. I mean, I picked up on Red Queen and Alice, but I didn't really think any more about it beyond that.
Not that you would know, though, because they don't say her name in the movie, but...
That's true. I guess even without saying her name, she does wake up in this world that she's not familiar with, and they still have the Red Queen. Okay. All right, Anderson. Bravo.
You get a cookie.
You're a genius. Speaking of things from the first movie, the dogs are back, like you said. How do you feel about them compared to the first movie? I know you were calling them ketchup dogs last week.
They looked a little bit better here.
Yeah.
They look like maybe a mix of barbecue and ketchup.
Okay, all right. So we've graduated.
They had the two sauces to mix.
Right, yes, okay.
This series, so far, I'm going to assume it's probably going to carry over to the other ones. It is following something that I don't really like from the games, which is all the side characters getting killed off. Because, like, they just kill Terry I mean, not that I knew her name, but I was kind of enjoying her, like, on the team or whatever. She was the whole movie, and then she just randomly dies. And, like, most of the side characters end up dying.
Or if they do survive to the end of the game, they may never show up again. Yeah, it's a very bad trend that the games have. They've gotten a little bit better about it. And apparently all the CG animated movies are canon, so characters from the games that haven't shown up in like 15 years do show up in those CG movies, but, you know...
Dr. Cameron?
That's not worth much. Right, Dr. Cameron. It's not worth much to me. If they like Jill, for example. Jill hasn't been in a Resident Evil game since Revelations, which came out like 14 years ago, maybe 13 years ago. With
2012?
Was it 2012? Yeah, so 14 years ago.
Or is that 2?
No, 2 was later. 2 was later.
Okay.
I think 2 came out while we were in high school. But yeah, like, it's not a good trend. Like, it's one of the things I really hate about the games is, like, obviously it's scarier if there's less people in them, so you don't run into real people that often. But yeah, they almost always die. And even the protagonists won't show up again. Leon gets to show up in 2, 4, 6, 9, and God knows how many CG movies. And Chris gets the same treatment, but, like, we never see Carlos again after RE3. We only see Jill a couple more times. We never see Rebecca again. We never see
Rebecca's
Claire again, except for Revelations 2.
Rebecca's in Vendetta?
We'll find out, but the point is she's not in any of the games, you know?
No.
Everybody who's not Leon or Chris gets fucked over, basically. Sheva's never shown up again. Jill and Claire are basically out of the picture. It would not surprise me if we just don't see Grace again after RE9.
We're going to see Ethan again before we see any of those people.
Possibly. I don't know. It's not a good trend. And from doing research on future movies in this series, something tells me that we will be running into this issue here as well.
I think it also just doesn't help that the characters don't get enough development. So literally, like, a character could do the most basic thing, and I'm like, oh, they did something, I kind of like them, and then they'll just die for, like, shock value. But then I don't really care that much, but then it's just like, well, then why even bother having these side characters in it?
Yeah. The standards are so low that doing anything makes them a fan favorite for you.
Basically.
Yeah, no, I agree. So Nemesis turns on Kane and attacks the Umbrella troops, but is killed while protecting Alice. The remaining survivors seize the helicopter and eject Kane from it. What?
He dies? I don't remember.
Nemesis gets crushed by the helicopter.
I must have missed that. What the hell?
Yeah. The after he shoots down the helicopter with the rocket launcher, the burning helicopter crushes him.
Okay, sure. The unstoppable giant fucking beast monster thing gets crushed by a helicopter and dies.
Yeah,
okay.
well, they have a bigger budget, but they can't afford to do his transformations. So whatever. I'd rather they keep it more ambiguous, and I guess they could always say later, "Oh, he was crushed, but he wasn't killed." But
Then
yeah,
he
then he got nuked. That's a good point. Like, who would have gotten him out of the city? Nobody. Anyway, as the survivors escape, a nuclear warhead detonates over the city, and the resulting blast wave causes the helicopter to crash. Alice sacrifices herself to save Angela and is impaled on a metal pole. TV footage attributes the blast to a meltdown of the city's nuclear power plant, obscuring Umbrella's involvement. I mean, I always just kind of assumed that the nuclear blast was done by the government, not Umbrella, so I don't really see why they needed to do that.
I don't think it was even in the games. It wasn't like they were covering up anything. They still were like, no, we're doing it to kill all the zombies.
Yeah. And then in RE4, they're like, yeah, Umbrella went bankrupt after that because they were getting sued into oblivion. Yeah, so... Go ahead. Sorry.
I laughed when there was just that random, like, pipe sitting in the helicopter, and then it just flies up and just hits Alice in, like, the head or whatever. I'm like, why is that even sitting there? It's just, like, a random piece of pipe.
Is that what happened? I thought it was a piece of debris flying into the helicopter from outside.
Maybe. To me, it looked like it was just sitting there.
But you're right. There is, like, a cutaway before they cut to the explosion of, like, Alice looking at, like, a box in the helicopter.
Yeah.
Which I thought was going to lead to something, but I thought I must have missed that.
You missed it like I missed Nemesis getting crushed by the helicopter.
Yeah. I mean, the editing is a little frantic. That's putting it politely. I think Alice dying is the first interesting thing she's done in these movies.
You mean dying?
Well, yeah, that's
quotes around that.
That's the other part. But you know, choosing to put her own life before Angela, that was cool. Like, you know, she's the protagonist of the movie, and she just sacrificed herself like that. The news broadcast was what I thought was going to be the end of the movie. There's like 5 scenes in a row where I'm like, they could have ended the movie here, and I would have been okay with it. So I thought the news broadcast framing Jill and Carlos, with the lie about the nuclear attack or whatever, nuclear power plant, I thought that was going to be the end of the movie when the TV shut off.
They also had like all the footage from Terry's camcorder, and then just completely invalidated her as a character. They're like, oh yeah, we got this exclusive footage. They're like, actually, she's just fucking lying. Like, it's all made up.
Yeah, and how did they get that? How did they get that exactly?
I don't know. That's a good point.
Like,
because she gave it to Alice,
and then Jill Alice died, and then the helicopter crashed.
They took it off her corpse.
Umbrella took it off. I guess, but it makes Umbrella look bad.
Jill was like, "I'm just gonna take that."
Doesn't it implicate Umbrella as well? I know Umbrella lied about the nuclear power plant in the news broadcast, but...
Well, it starts off saying, like, yeah, Umbrella's bad, and then it's like, actually, no, that was all just fake and made up, and Umbrella's good.
Oh, okay. So Umbrella probably did take the camcorder. All right.
I also really didn't like Nemesis in this. Just because the fact that he's just, like, this guy, and then... The whole point of him in the third game is that he's like an unrelenting killing machine who won't stop until he kills everything. Or all his targets. And then in this one, he's just like, I'm not going to fight anymore. I'm going to turn and help these people.
Yeah,
and he gets a conscience.
Yeah, they give him a redemption, which is very funny because he's basically a Terminator.
He murdered like 20 cops.
Yeah, and God knows how many other people that we didn't see. Because in this version, he's fighting people that aren't stars, too. Like, he can be set to be programmed to fight anybody. In Resident Evil 3, Nemesis is like a bioengineered Terminator designed to specifically target the STARS members. And in this, he's just, remote-controlled.
STARS.
Until he grows a heart 3 sizes bigger that day.
That's how he died. He had a heart attack after the helicopter crushed him.
After the helicopter crashed, I checked the runtime and there was still 15 minutes left.
Including credits?
Including credits, but credits by the end of it were only like 6 minutes. And I'm like, how the fuck is there still more movie after this? Like, I'm sure they're going to set... I know. Yeah. Please, go on.
Alice wakes up in an Umbrella research facility and escapes with help from Carlos, Jill, LJ, and Angela. She also displays psionic abilities after telekinetically killing a security guard. As they leave, Dr. Alexander Isaacs, a top-ranking Umbrella employee, reveals that Alice's escape is part of Umbrella's plan.
Okay, so quick fun fact. Alexander Isaacs is named after Jason Isaacs, the actor who played Birkin in the first movie. I guess they felt bad or something, so they named a character after the actor.
They must really like Jason Isaacs. They really felt bad that he could not come back for this movie.
No, really. Like that's I didn't make that up. That's real trivia. Yeah, so this is when Alice officially crosses over into being too stupid even for me to enjoy. When she... First of all, before she kills the security guard with her mind, she hacks all of the security cameras with her brain, so they're all 20 screens in the security room are just switched to her face, and then he gets a nosebleed and dies. And it's like, okay, we have crossed the threshold.
How could it get any worse?
Genuinely, how could Alice get any stupider and more overpowered than this? She just did one interesting thing by sacrificing herself, and they immediately roll that back. And also, she has the Force now. She's like Neo from the Matrix. She can see the code. It's like
the next movie, she's just gonna be like, the bullets actually can't hit me.
No, they actually warp around me because I'm so strong.
They're scared of me, so they don't hit me.
Yeah. So and this scene goes on for a while. It's like 8 or 9 minutes. First, we get a shot of Jovovich naked in a tube, which was really weird. And it continues the trend of her just being naked at the end of these movies. I wonder if that's going to continue.
It better, or I want my money back.
Every single one of these movies has to end with her nude, even the last one. So,
the final chapter.
The final chapter.
It cuts to black, and then it just flashes a frame.
It's like Fight Club. Yeah. Jill's alive. Carlos is alive.
They're all BFFs.
They're all BFFs.
After hanging out for 4 hours.
I'm surprised that they're still alive. The movie had like a perfect opportunity to kill them. Like I was saying, they could have ended it right after the TV broadcast. They could have ended it after the shot of Alice's dead face, like at the helicopter crash, and it had the cliffhanger there. Yeah. Like this mystery scientist has found her body. And then they have a moment where they could have had the cliffhanger of her in the test tube. Or her saying, I remember everything. There's like 6 or 7 great shots where you could have cut to black and then rolled the credits. But instead, yeah, we have confirmation that Jill and Carlos will definitely be back in the next movie. Along with LJ and Angela. Yeah, right. And that's it. And
it's
and
really
now
funny.
Now she's like 11 from Stranger Things or Neo from The Matrix. So, great.
It's really funny to me that they were all just like, we should make this like a team. They have like the pimp. I don't know if he's a pimp or not, but he had like custom gold Desert Eagles earlier in the movie. So he's not just a normal guy.
I mean, he says he drives a Cadillac. He holds his gun sideways, which is a terrible stereotype. And then the 2 gold-plated pistols, and he's arrested for something. I don't know.
We have the pimp, orphaned child, umbrella officer and police officer, and overpowered OC.
Yeah, and they clearly won't be following the games past this point because, I mean, even if you forget the Alice of it all, your party going forward is Jill and Carlos from RE3, LJ, and like you said, an orphan school child. who also has like a debilitating disease that they don't have any more antivirus for.
They should just kill her.
They probably will. I wouldn't be surprised if the third film opens with a car crash and everybody but Alice is dead.
She's just standing outside of burning car like, oh. Yeah, I don't think any of those characters are going to show up in 3. I'd be surprised if any of them do. If any of them do, it's going to be like LJ.
Right.
It'll start with LJ and Alice getting dropped off somewhere and the car just pulls away.
I mean, I don't know. Like, Mike Epps is probably the biggest name out of the squad of characters in this car. He might be the hardest to get back.
Apparently this also wasn't the original ending. The original ending was just going to be that she walks out and just gets in a car that Jill is sitting in, and then they drive away.
Weird.
Which doesn't make any sense, but I don't think either of them really work.
No, not real. I mean, for what it's worth, I do think Sienna Guillory, I'm sorry for butchering your name. I do think she does an okay job as Jill. She certainly looks the part. I don't think she's doing an offensive job or anything. And since Jill is so infrequently used in the games, it's not as if she's got a robust personality to work from, especially at this point, because the only games she would have been in are 1 and 3. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
We're going to see her in her Resident Evil 5 appearance.
That would be fucking nuts.
So did it work? Did this movie feel like it fit into the Resident Evil universe? I'd say more so than the first one.
Yeah, I would agree.
And I don't know if that's just because we actually have characters showing up, or like if it's just because in the Raccoon City and it's going through the events of like 2 and 3. I would probably attribute it somewhat to the characters showing up that we know.
Yeah, a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, I think.
Yeah. And did you think that the game characters felt like the game characters?
No.
Or did they seem like different?
They are about as flat as everybody else and everybody from the last movie. Yeah, no.
Yeah, they didn't feel
sorry,
similar.
Yeah, they're all I mean, again, by this point, how many characters from the games actually have defined personalities? But also,
yeah, it's true.
It's like these characters aren't interesting movie characters either. Like, these aren't well-written characters. These are just like, he's the wisecracking comic relief. He's the stoic tough guy. He's the black guy who dies first. Like, these are all very shallow stereotypes of characters from like action movies or horror movies.
Yeah, I found this film, even though like it's technically made better, I found it a lot less enjoyable than the first one, just because there was like there's no character work and the plot was so weak, combined with the fact that it moves so fast because we have so many characters. They could have just taken out some characters like Carlos and Nikolai, because Nikolai wasn't even remotely similar to who he is in the games, and then spent extra time on Alice and Jill, who clearly were the main two of the movie.
Yeah, they should have made out. I like this movie. I would watch this one again. Unlike the first movie, which I would not watch again. I'm not saying this would be my top choice if I wanted to throw on an action flick. It wouldn't even be in my top 100 choices. But I do think it looks good. I think there's like not just passable action sequences like the last film. There are really good action sequences, especially the stuff with Nemesis and Alice in the chase there. And I like the atmosphere. I like seeing this city in chaos and the zombies and shit, and it's just like way more spectacle. It's at a much bigger scale than the first movie. I still don't think it's a good movie because the script is... You're right. It might be more terrible than the last one, but it makes up for it in the presentation. Like, you really see where the money is going this time.
Yeah, that's true. It does look... I think I would agree that if I was likely to watch 1 or 2, I'd probably rather watch this one. Just because
But-
more happens and
but
there's more
that's like-
things to actually watch.
Yeah, but it's like a gun to your head situation. Like I
Yeah.
certainly wouldn't choose to throw this on, but it is something where it's like, yeah, fuck it. I haven't seen this movie in like 8 years. I'll put it
See
on
this
in the
movie in an hour or two.
I'll put it on in the background while I clean my house, Yeah. But it doesn't matter what we think. Let's hear what the critics have to say. In the aftermath of release, we have our critical/audience response. Rotten Tomatoes, critic score of 18%, which is a pretty sharp drop-off from the 30-ish that the last one had. Audience score also drops down from 60, I think 7 or 69% down to 60. Metacritic's Metascore is 36, which I think is about the same. The user score is 6.3, which is a little bit less, but not that bad. And the cinema score is the same with a B.
18% so low.
It's very low. That's like Suicide Squad levels of low.
I think it's lower than that.
God. Yeah. And this is...
I think I might
I would
rather watch Suicide Squad than this.
Are you serious? I would totally rather watch this.
Maybe it's not 18%, but I wouldn't give it a 60 either.
I think 60 is
55.
I think 60 is perfect for this. Box office, we've got a budget of 45.
You gotta say the thing.
But it doesn't matter what we think or what the critics think, because what talks louder than them is money. So looking at the box office, like we said earlier, the budget is $45 million. Domestic opening weekend is $23 million, which, let me pull up the spreadsheet. I believe that is a bigger opening weekend than the first movie. Let me double check.
It's like half of its budget right there.
Yeah. I should have had this pulled up.
You're done. You're cut off.
I'm cut off. Cut off from what? Okay. So like we said earlier, the budget was $45 million, which is a $12 million bump. Looking at the domestic opening weekend, we've got $23 million just about, versus the 17.7 from the last film. So a pretty significant bump, like another $6 million compared to the last film's opening weekend. And domestically, it made about $51 million, which is like 20% more than the first film made. Internationally, it grossed $78 million versus the first film's $62. So again, a nice chunk of cash there. And the total box office was $129.3 million, which is nearly $30 million more than the last one. And when you factor in the increased budget and you do the math, the studio was walking away with a nice, healthy profit of over $84 million. So this made more money than the last one, and more profit than the last one.
I wonder if they'll make a third one.
Yeah, exactly. So as far as the effects on future projects, yeah, they're going to make another one. And as we'll find out next week, they were already planning the third one before this even hit theaters.
And so, as the tagline to this film puts it, the evil continues next week in our next episode. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed the episode, be sure to leave a like, share it with your friends, and rate us 5 stars if you're listening on a podcast platform. And if you've seen the movie, be sure to leave your thoughts on it in the comments. We'd love to hear what our audience has to say about this shitty film. Film. We'll see you all next week. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.